Blackmail is what rules the world. The main reason President Trump ran is because he knew these elites were involved in the rape, torture, and trafficking of children. And I am confident that is the main reason he ran, to end it once and for all. It's really important for people to understand that what these elites are involved in goes, unfortunately, way beyond child sex trafficking. I just want to add, in terms of the assassination attempt, he also talked about CIA mind control, and which is, MK Ultra would be a form of mind control that the CIA conducts, and that's been proven to be true through declassified materials that have been released over the years. That Project Monarch, which was a CIA mind control program, was real, right? So he talked about CIA mind control as well, but he also talked about predictive programming. And what the deep state does is that the deep state, the members of the cabal, whatever you want to call them, because they're Satanists, and this isn't what I believe, but this is what they believe in truth in plain sight, and they believe that they have to announce their plans before they commit them. So if you look at a show like The Simpsons, people are like, oh my gosh, how did The Simpsons predict so much stuff? And it's like, well, no, actually, that's part of their predictive programming. They are announcing their plans in advance. And they believe that if they announce them through pop culture and people accept that, then that's a ritual for them. And they can justify it that way.
Why is this happening to Diddy? Well, did he stop being protected? Like, what ends up happening with the Weinsteins and the Epsteins and the Diddys? Like, what's going on? My instinct, Liz, and I'm no expert, but is that they're doing a mop-up operation. They put James Comey's daughter over it. She's apparently bombing at this trial, and they're not really like sticking. Nothing's really sticking, and they're able to like almost sanitize these charges against him and let him off, maybe with like a slap on the wrist. But what do I know, right? Why did this happen? About a year ago, the raids on Diddy started happening. Why?
So, okay. Historically, when we've seen high-profile people, celebrities fall, R. Kelly would be one example. Harvey Weinstein would be another example. A lot of people believe that they use certain people in Hollywood as sacrificial lambs to protect the bigger fish. And I strongly believe, specifically with R. Kelly, that that's what they did to him. So what R. Kelly did was horrific. He was abusing women. He was trafficking women. He was raping women. He's a monster. But he was very good friends with Jay-Z. Now, there's evidence that Jay-Z was behind his fall, because Jay-Z has funded a woman that was behind the series that exposed R. Kelly, Surviving R. Kelly. He was funding that. So I do believe that some of these celebrities will throw another celebrity, including their friends, under the bus to protect themselves. Now, in terms of Diddy, I do believe that what Diddy's pals and, his co-conspirators, I do believe their intention is for him to be another sacrificial lamb. I don't think that Diddy is going to be a one and done. I do not think that he's going to be a sacrificial lamb. I believe that's the intention. I don't believe that's going to be the outcome. And here's why. There's been, I think, over 70 lawsuits, civil lawsuits that have been filed against Diddy. And one of the most explosive ones was filed by Lil Rod, okay? In many of these lawsuits, there has been evidence included that has implicated other high-profile celebrities in crimes. And so since there's been so much exposure, especially through these lawsuits, and in addition to that, during Diddy's criminal trial just this week alone, we've heard many names get mentioned. So I think as much as they will try to make Diddy the sacrificial lamb and try to get everyone else off the hook, I think that the public is too awake. I think, Trump's back in office. We have Cash as the head of the FBI. They are making combating child sex trafficking a priority. President Trump's team, they are going after and deporting the lower level sex traffickers, the gang members, the cartel members, the MS-13 members. And people have to understand these are the kinds of people who worked for Diddy. Diddy's ring was massive. The lower level people that are actually trafficking the children in rings such as, or I should say allegedly, rings allegedly such as Diddy's and Jeffrey Epstein's, the people that were on the ground doing the trafficking, those were the MS-13 members, you know, the cartel members. These are the foot soldiers for the deep state. Well, what is President Trump's administration doing? They are getting rid of the lower hanging fruit. They are deporting them. They are arresting them. And I'm sure many of them are talking. And when you have a RICO case and when you take down a huge criminal enterprise, you have to start at the bottom. You have to start at the lower hanging fruit, which I see happening right now. And then you work your way up to the top to the bigger fish. And the other thing that I will mention that a lot of people don't understand, and General Flynn has mentioned this as well, and I know that General Flynn goes on your show all the time, and you know, you really admire and respect him. General Flynn has said, and I strongly believe this too, that Diddy's ring was involved in the sex trafficking of migrant children. And one piece of evidence that would support this is that one of Diddy's bodyguards purchased a property on the in California on the California Mexico border. And it's like, you know, why would they be so interested in a property on the border unless they had the intention to do nefarious activity? You know, when these children cross the border, a lot of them come alone. Who's picking them up? As we all know, Biden's administration was involved in trafficking migrant children. We have hundreds of thousands of missing migrant children. We have whistleblowers who have come forward and said that it was Biden's Homeland Security and Health and Human Services that was knowingly trafficking children. And a lot of these children were put on private jets, which was reported years ago, including by the mainstream media. They were put on private jets that were off the books, by the way. They're totally off the books in the middle of the night. Some of these private jets were flying to very wealthy areas where elites live. So we know the Biden administration used the government, our taxpayer dollars, to traffic children. We know that Diddy allegedly is involved in sex trafficking. And we know that these high profile Democrats are close with people like Diddy. So it's like, it's very easy to connect the dots here to see what's going on. Diddy's ring is much bigger than people realize. I do believe it was massive. I know it was linked to Jeffrey Epstein's ring as well. I do believe it involved intelligence agencies. I do believe that, well, I know Diddy was tied to the CIA, the feds, and, you know, people like Diddy, Jay-Z, they have everyone in their back pocket.
What is the usefulness? What is the motility of a Diddy ring and a Diddy operation like this to the deep state, to the CIA, to the feds? Why would they protect him?
Well, okay, so these rings have many different incentives, right? And there's many different layers to them. So when you look at Diddy's ring or Jeffrey Epstein's ring, you know, at the top, they were involved in sex trafficking. When you go lower and you go deeper, then you realize it's not just sex trafficking. These people are involved in satanic rituals. When you go deeper than that, you realize the reason why they're running these sex trafficking operations is to blackmail people. How do you control people? How do you control a powerful individual who has a ton of influence, whether that is an elected official or, you know, a pop singer or whoever? Well, you blackmail them. So when you look at Diddy and Epstein, they both were videotaping everything that happened in their homes at these parties where crimes were committed. So the incentive would be to have blackmail footage on other celebrities and politicians. So then the powers that be, the deep state, the CIA, the intel agencies, the feds, whoever, then they can control those people. You don't vote this way, then we're going to release the video of you, you know, at a freak off party, or we're going to release a video of you with a child, you know, or, you know, to some of these celebrities in Hollywood, if you don't do a video telling all your followers that you must take the vaccine, well, then we're going to release, you know, your video from Jeffrey Epstein's island. Blackmail is what rules the world. And unfortunately, there's so many people in Hollywood and many people in government, many members of Congress who are blackmailed. And that's what Diddy's operation really was about. And that's what Jeffrey Epstein's operation was really about. We know Pam Bondi said the other day, they're going through tens of thousands of videos. Now think about that. Jeffrey Epstein, his operation went on for almost 3 decades. He had cameras wired in all of his homes, not just the island, Benny. He had multiple homes. He had the Manhattan home. He had the Zorro Ranch where he was raping victims, including children as well. He had cameras in all these homes. It was 24-hour surveillance. Benny, Jeffrey Epstein even had cameras in the toilets at his home. Think about that. The main reason President Trump ran is because he knew these elites were involved in the rape, torture, and trafficking in children. And I am confident that is the main reason he ran, to end it once and for all. Now, back in 2017, after he was first sworn in, within 2 or 3 weeks of him, you know, of his first term, he actually gave a listening session where he said that he was going to combat child sex trafficking like it's never been done before. And guess what? That is exactly what he did during his first term. Now, the mainstream media didn't cover it, but he took down Backpage. He's the reason why Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were arrested. He took down Nexium. He was arresting a ton of these lower level sex traffickers, many of the MS-13 members, the CJNG cartel members who were trafficking children. Many of them were arrested during his first term. Actually, I am very confident that President Trump ran to combat child sex trafficking and to break up these elite pedophile rings and to end them. And he started the job during his first term. And I'm very confident that he will finish the job his second term.